No, 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 no heroes. Woo! No, 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 no heroes. No heroes, baby.
Hey guys, it's Jan Birkmeier again with Italian NCL Week 4. We have Riccardo, the Pluffy expert, facing Mirko on Doffy. And Riccardo is currently 1-2 and Mirko is 2-1. And yeah, we've had this matchup a couple of times now. And yeah, this issue of I guess we will see if Riccardo has adapted his deck list or is just sticking with his 9-cost Marmless build, just focusing on the 9-cost Rush Luffy. And yeah, double Searcher Law start is definitely strong. Finding an Onami and a 7-cost Sanji, which he will now have at his disposal on curve, which is obviously one of the strongest cards in this matchup, just to be able to clear Doffy's board, even those active characters, as soon as possible. But Mirko has a really explosive start here with 3-Don Teach, putting Jinbei on the top of his deck, and then summoning a Boa, coming in for 8k. Previously we have seen Riccardo discard double 2k in these spots, so this time he takes it, maybe because he doesn't have it, up to 8 cards, as Mirko is kindly displaying with his dice for us. And yeah, Riccardo already using that leader ability, up to 5 down now, 9 cards in hand. Probably, right? Maybe 8. We'll just trust... Oh no, 9. Yeah. 6 plus 3 is 9, guys. Quick math. So already a very uphill battle for Riccardo here. An explosive start like this is very difficult to deal with. Now he goes for another Law Search here. Interesting. This is going to be 1 Don. Okay, he does find a 2k, which he was probably looking for, but this is 1 Don less that you're going to attach to your leader, and he just goes for a 9k swing, which Mirko easily lets go. I think you could even argue in some cases to go block double 2k if you have it, just because your opponent simply doesn't have any board and you can pressure the hell out of him. And we do see the pudding here. Absolutely backbreaking, putting on 9 cards, and now there's gonna be at least a 6k and likely a 7k coming in, summoning another character off of leader ability. So I don't want to call anything yet, but I think we might have a very fast game on our hands here. Both of them are playing quite quickly as well. Mirko just casually accepting a call. Teach ability, putting something on top. And there's the 7k swing. It's probably another Boa if he does it like that, yep. Otherwise you would always want to do the 6k swing first, to not give your opponent an additional card that he could, for example, get a 2k from. Like if you swing, like firstly, obviously you know that he has a 2k in the Usohachi, but if you didn't, then if you swing 7k first, your opponent will take the life, and if that life was a 2k, then your 6k will be able to get 2k'd out of, while in his previous hand he might not have had any. So going for resting the Teach here, swinging 7 into one of these Boas, likely down to 2 life already. Mirko doesn't have any 1ks, but he's easily willing to give up doesn't have any 2ks, but has no problem at all with giving up double 1k here, because 4 attacks against 2 life, no Don open, only 4 cards. He could technically go quadruple 7 here, which I think is really strong. But he just starts off with a 5k, which is also very fine in my opinion. Yeah, you can also go for things like 5, 7, 9, or Yeah. 579, 55779? I'm talking gibberish, sorry guys. We here see the 7, followed up by another 7, and having set up his top, he just wants to go for an 8k, and Ricardo is already scooping. We can go into the next one right away. Going first in this matchup can really snowball quite quickly, as we saw just now. Let's see if Ricardo can fight back here. Previously we saw him go down to this similar aggression that Mirko just showed. But yeah, what also bit him this time is that he did not have those, like, despite playing double Searcher Law on his turn 1, he was not able to find 2Ks and be able to counter out of that 8K swing, which then obviously made him so vulnerable to pudding. And the players are pile shuffling, as you should. And preparing for game 2. That was a very quick game 1. But that's what Doffy can do, guys. You all have probably had it happen to you, or have done it to several other people. Drawing cards. Let's see if there's gonna be any mulligans. Likely Ricardo will go first this time and decides those are not the 5 cards that he wants to start this game with. And likewise, Mirko decides to take a mulligan as well. And don't you wonder, guys, how these players can move their hands so quickly and shuffle so well. This footage is sped up for your convenience. Because sometimes, I mean, we all agree that it's just a bit more pleasurable to watch on a speed like this. Taking the Sun Goro to hand, so again, not a 2k, which I guess you would like, but this might be a piece for your 7-Don Luffy Taro play. Mirko just passing his 2-Don turn, okay, no 1-drop. We see the 5k swing into likely leader ability into Zorojuro. Maybe there's a Bonclay. Yep, there is actually a Bonclay, okay. Playing another Searcher Law, so Ricardo has all the Searcher Laws this match. This time finding a 2k. Going up to, yeah, 7 cards in hand or something. Or still 6. Looks like 6. We always have to trust Mirko's dice. Or die in that case. Yep, counters out. And we see Jinbei into a Vanilla Gecko, interesting. So a little tech there from Mirko, who's likely expecting this matchup, and Gecko, being a 6k buddy, is obviously just very useful. $5k swing coming in Mirko's live, and he decides to give a 2k, while Ricardo can just play his Luffy Taro into Sangoro without using leader ability, so we already see a difference like night and day between this game and the last game. Ricardo's still on 4 life in this spot. He has the board advantage and still a couple of cards in his hand. And yeah, those are 4 to be precise. Mirko seems to be at like 5 cards roughly. Obvious cookie cutter line here is Doa. It's the Boa together with a 7k swing from leader. So going 5, 6, 7. But since he's grabbing for that gecko first, I assume that's not what we're gonna see. So he might want to go like 6, 7, teach for leader ability. Sort of what I'm assuming. But no, we start off with a buggy, changing up the line of play completely. Those always have to stay on top. And we could still see 6, 7. But we don't. We see 7, 7, 7 even. Or there's gonna be another 1-drop coming in. Ah, it's another boa, right? So that's why we sequence like this. Because Gecko is going to be a 7k attacker with this added don from boa. So we will probably take this one as well and then counter out of the next swing. And then we are facing an entirely rested board, going up to 9 don ourselves as Pluffy. We have a draw from the Sangoro, and yeah, we will see what Ricardo can do in dealing with this board. Mirko seems to be at 4 cards in hand. Are we going to see... Oh, he's only going up to 8 don, excuse me. Yeah, because he obviously minused for the Luffy Taro. Are we going to see another Luffy Taro? He's swinging 8 first. Not really interested in seeing what this Sangoro draws for him before deciding on his sequencing. Mirko actually interested in giving 2k 1k apparently. We can assume that the swing is directed at the Boa Hancock. And yep, he's actually giving double 2k. Now we see 8k from Sangoro, again into Boa. Ricardo just doing his best to clear Mirko's board as well as possible. Going with another 8k into the Gecko now. And actually Mirko was at 5 cards in hand. Letting Gecko go here. And we might just see a 9k swing with Luffy here. We do see an 8k, keeping 1 up for Giant. So achieving a full board clear here, essentially, Buggy can still stick around, which is very relevant in this case, because he can just attack into Mr. 2 Bon Clay. But this is sort of a game spot where, assuming this Jimbei dies to this 8k swing, where Ricardo could actually consider giving a 2k, because that will likely force Mirko to attack into the Bon-chan with his leader as well. But none of that is about to happen because Mirko decides to give double 2k to protect his Jimbei. So having a lot of 2ks in his hand there. And for the reason I just basically displayed, he actually decides to go 3k into this Buggy. and with buggy into this Mr. 2. And now is thinking what to do with the remainder of his Dom. 2 cards in hand, still at 4 life, having used up a lot of 2Ks, which Ricardo is obviously keeping track of. Playing down a Teach, so ready to sacrifice that last card he has in hand. Maybe replacing it by summoning a Weevil. No, it's a Gecko. Likely grabbing. Okay, yeah, grabbing a Boa here, just to have a blocker ready. And yeah, his swing was directed at life, interestingly enough. Ricardo did not decide to use a potential Gum Gum Giant here. We do see the Boa coming down. Checking top 3. Gonna attach 1 Don to the Jinbei, and I assume we will see a 6k swing to life, because at this point Ricardo will either protect the Sanjay or protect the life. Like, whatever Mirko is attacking, he will get a card, but attacking life will be a 2k. But he actually decides to just pass the turn and keep his active Jinbei around, which I really like, preventing him from getting potentially completely blown out by something like a 7-cost Sanji, who could then rest the Boa, and then all those swings would clear everything on the board except for the standing Teach, and with just a 3k attacker and their leader Mirko would likely not be able to go for game, and slowly Ricardo would be able to take over the game. Drawing off the Sanji again. With this active Jinbei now, Mirko is guaranteed to at least have Teach and one of these 4 costs sticking around, 5k buddies. Contemplating a trigger there for a second. Curious what he was thinking about. Likely perfume trigger, I would think. Because Gravity Blade on the Sangoro would seem quite juicy. Ricardo going for the same combo again, setting up a very threatening board against 2 life, keeping 7 or 8 cards in hand, and 3 Don open. Yeah, he is at 7 cards in hand, or 8 even, as Mirko's die are displaying. I guess it's dice, right? Dice is the plural, die is singular. And he comes in with the pudding. That's a crazy stack from the Boa, preparing this pudding. He might have gotten it from life, to be fair. And now Ricardo is on the verge of death. He's completely reliant on what his deck decides to give you. Drawing those 5 cards, is there a giant or not? 7k swing to test the waters is going to be at least an 8 and a 9 with the help of this Teach. So going 7, 8, 9, giving 2k, 1k here. Mirko contemplating. Does he want to maybe use his leader ability as well? Can he just go 7? Saying that a 7 will get 2 cards, an 8 will get 2 cards, but an 8 is worse against Giant. But I think at this point you might just have to say, okay mate, if you have the Giant, so be it. But he decides to go for a 7k swing. In the case, I guess he's preparing to still have the option open to swing with his Teach, which you essentially have to see as a 5k attacker in itself. So he could, after this, if this gets countered, he could go 6, 7. And now we will see a 10k swing from Doffy leader. And Ricardo is just dead with double Zorojuro in his hand. He did have 2k, 1k, which he probably got one of those from live. Otherwise he would have countered out of one of these 7ks, I assume. And yeah, that's a quick series. Another very fast match from the Italians, especially in these Doffy versus Purple Luffy games. And yeah, see you next time.